Yeah, man, so hard doing this and actually having a name for shows and whatnot now, and my hair's a mess, but oh well. And I guess it's just the burden all we all must bear, huh? Hey everybody, this is Tommy, also known as Raven T2, and welcome to the very first edition of Mark with a Mouth. Okay, so as you can see, Mark with a Mouth, that's who I am, that's who I've always been, and among other nicknames I have, you know, plenty of them, too many to name. Angry Black Guy is one. How about that? I'm here to talk about one thing and one thing only in this video, being a mark. The Sasha Banks Charlotte feud. It seems to be a very polarizing issue among wrestling fans, and many fans saying that there are too many title changes between the two of them, especially since they've changed title like between each other, I think, what, 3 times? In the last 3 months. Let me double check that. Something like that, I think. Let me see. Yeah, 3 times each in the past few months there, since the title was reactivated, was rechristened in April. I think people are too harsh on this feud and the number of title changes. My friend Eamon, who is one of the commentators for Inspire Pro Wrestling, and shouts out to Eamon and to Inspire Pro especially. Both the commentator and the company are top notch. I think, but Eamon pointed out a really good point. Like the fact that it switches back and forth between the two of them makes it so it doesn't seem like either one is better than the other. And I think that's a very valid point. I think that's something like, when you look at it, that's what people are actually trying to go, that the companies are trying to go for. Both are extremely talented. Both are top of their game. Great. You got Sasha Banks, fresh on the indie circuit and NXT and her title wins there. You have, Charlotte Flair, and daughter of Ric Flair, of course. And you have this great feud, this great heat back and forth between them, especially coming from NXT and the 4 horsewomen of NXT, along with Bayley and Becky Lynch, to what we have now. And and I think that the feud's not given enough credit for doing what it's doing. I remember seeing one video from What Culture Wrestling saying that that their match shouldn't have been the main event for Hell in a Cell, and with all due respect to What Culture, I respectfully disagree. And here's why. Even if the match was not as great as many people thought it would be, I still thought it was a great match. I didn't think it was as great, and even to me, I don't think it was as great as I thought it could have been. I still think it was a great match, just not as great as it could have been. It still did a lot of things that I think were phenomenal and great for wrestling in general, not just women's wrestling. That being said, regardless of your feelings about the match, I feel it needed to be the main event of that pay-per-view, and I feel that it needed to be a Hell in a Cell match, and to do it that way because first of all, not every high-profile match is a home run hitter. It can look good on paper, and it can, for some reason, for whatever the reason might be, fail in execution. A really good example I can give of that is I love the Stone Cold Steve Austin Rock feud. Love it. I think every match they had was phenomenal. The one match to me that was great, but still not as great as other matches they had was the match at WrestleMania 19. First of all, don't burn me at the stake for this. Let me explain. The WrestleMania 19 match between The Rock and Stone Cold was great. It was a great match. It was fun. It was awesome to see. It was a little sad to not see Stone Cold get that one last win, but it was still kind of cool to see The Rock get it. But it wasn't as great as, say, the WrestleMania 15 match or the Backlash match they had the very next month, or as good as the WrestleMania 17 match. That being said, I still think it was a great match. There are a lot of matches you can say that very same thing about. and again, with all due respect to Triple H, a lot of matches he had, and I'd say like 2003, there were few matches in there, but it's still Triple H. He still can, that's the guy who still just, has earned his main event spot. Guys, amazing. He, even after all this time, and even with that, the match he had with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this past year, this is 2016 when I'm filming this, so it was WrestleMania 32, which was here in Texas, in Arlington, and Dallas. I think the match would have been better had it not been for the fan reaction to it. I think that's what kind of killed some of the momentum for the match. But other than that, I think it was a pretty good match. So going back to Sasha and Charlotte, I think that their match in Hell in a Cell had to be last. It had to be the main event of that show. If for no other reason, just to say, hey, they can do this too. The women can hang with the dudes. And they can. And it's not. I don't think so much it was the quality of the match, which I say was still great. Not as perfect as we would like to have been, but still great. It was just a match that needed to happen for wrestling, women's wrestling, men's wrestling, WWE, and wrestling in general. I think them as a match that needs to happen. Yeah, and the whole thing of the title changing back and forth between the two of them, I think that's something that's. We haven't seen that kind of thing in WWE in a while, of the title changes back and forth that much. So I think if they're gonna do it, that's fine. I think it brings prestige to the title, and I think it brings attention to the feud itself, good or bad press. And I'm pretty sure Vince is a big proponent of this. There's no such thing as bad press. So I just think that you can have feuds with multiple title changes, even in a short span of time, and it doesn't hurt the feud. Someone mentioned that the feud is a lot like John Cena and Randy Orton. Again, I see the point of that, and I saw one that's kind of a meme with people with a head was wearing glasses, white their glasses, and they saw it's just John Cena and Randy Orton. I get the joke and it's funny, but I don't think it's a quite accurate representation of the feud itself. I mean, I see the similarities. Don't shoot me and say, oh, you're just being. I mean, of course, I like Sasha and Charlotte because they're two of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. But I just think that my thing is with Cena and Orton, you have two guys who've already established that they're superstars. And not to say that Charlotte and Sasha haven't. Let me get to my point. Orton and Cena at that time were the two not up and coming stars, they were the stars. And those two stars were duking out to prove who was better. Now, history will determine who was better. Fans will argue about it now. You have Let's Go Cena, Let's Go Orton. You'll have that forever. And then 30 years from now, we're having the same argument. And I think that's what you have now with Sasha and Charlotte, but instead of them already being established stars, this is establishing them as the stars. At that point in Cena and Orton's career, they'd already done all the matches. They'd done the Hell in a Cell, the Falls Count Anywhere, the cage matches, the no DQs, all that stuff. So they'd already done that with other people. They were now just doing it with each other to solidify who was the top dog between the two of them. Sasha and Charlotte are establishing a brand new, like they said, women's revolution in WWE. I mean, I can't even say in wrestling in general because there have been companies like Shine and Shimmer and WSU forever, and shouts out to all the ladies in those companies because from the Mia Yims to the Sarah Del Rey's, Mercedes Martinez, Madison Eagles and all those ladies, and Cheerleader Melissa Mischief, all those ladies do amazing, and they have done amazing for years. Now the level of competition is now hitting WWE in a big way, and that's a good thing. And Charlotte and Sasha are at the forefront of leading that now. You have SmackDown with Becky Lynch was the former SmackDown champion as of this video for TLC, where she lost it to Alexa Bliss, who is also in something to game up. I think that these matches and having them be in different styles from the LeBron panties matches and all that kind of thing from before and in the previous eras. Changes the game up. You can see a shifting of the guard. You can see where things are different now. And there's nothing wrong with multiple title changes, in my opinion, when it's done right. I mean for God's sake, anyone does, I mean, because when people say, oh, it changed titles too many times, are we just completely ignoring the year 2000 where Triple H and The Rock traded the WWF championship back and forth so much it literally was like, dude, pick a champion. Like, seriously. Every pay-per-view it changed hands. And look, here we are 2016, 16 years later, and people will say, oh, that was the greatest feud ever. The best feud. Yeah, the title needs to change hands. So 15 years from now, we'll be saying that about the Sasha Charlotte Flair feud. Sasha Banks Charlotte Flair. Oh, that was the best feud ever. Yeah, the title changes all the time. You never knew who's going to have it next. And I think that's the point. It's not typical. You can't, just immediately plan it, because I know they have an Iron Woman match coming up at Roadblock. Will Charlotte win it back? Will Sasha keep it? Who's going to be the champion going into Royal Rumble? Who's going to be champion coming into WrestleMania? We don't know. We can't even gauge it right now. But I think that's part of the fun. Because if wrestling was too predictable and you just always saw it coming, then why watch it? I mean, yeah, for the great matches, but sometimes if you know the outcome, it lessens the fun. I think that the title changing hands multiple times, to me, is fun. It's a good time. It keeps the fans watching, and heck, yeah, a lot of people are gonna watch Roadblock just to see if Sasha keeps it or Charlotte wins it back, because that's just what's been going on. That's the engine that's running right now. I mean, they both have had the belt 3 times each, with Sasha being the current champion. Okay, so what? Not every company is Ring of Honor, where the champion holds the belt for a long time. Not every company is, excuse me. When the hardcore title was a thing, that thing changed hands literally every 5 minutes. Literally every 5 minutes. Heck, at house shows, sometimes a fan could almost win, like the thing of the DDT Pro Iron Man Championship, which everyone has won. Cats won it, fans won it. Anyway, regardless. But I think it's too harsh to judge this feud as harshly, because I think they're trying to do something different. And for wrestling fans who say that WWE is the same all the time, when they're trying to do something different, you complain. Guys, give them a break. They're trying to do something. It may not be exactly what you would have done, but you're not running the company. Triple H and Vince are. And past couple years, I gotta say, it's not been run as terribly as it has been. And heck, it can't be all that bad. All of us are still watching. Hey, when they make you mad or make you sad, you're still tuning in. But that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm a mark with a mouth. And that's all I got you guys for this one. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and share this video and pass it along. Thanks for watching. Minasan, sayonara. Peace.